Dance is about the body, and whether we like it or not, you look at the shapes, the sizes, the colors, the specialness of someone when they're up on stage and you're looking at who they are. And so I've been struggling lately because when I had my audition, part of the reason I had an audition is because I wanted to find new talent. I wanted to connect with new dancers outside of the circle of movers that I had been working with.
This whole adventure this past year has been about doing dance in these non-traditional spaces. Like, I always used to think that success was like big theater, packed house, lights, camera action, you know? And then I had this experience last year when I was dancing in Switzerland, and I did all of this outdoor dancing and improvised with strangers, and it was just so amazing. And I was just kind of bit by the bug.
I feel like there's this disconnect for me because my dance community feels like this very specific kind of thing, and maybe that's because I come through this historical perspective of modern dance with other influences, but that a lot of the work I make is heavily inspired by my ballet upbringing mixed with my experiences with Paul Taylor's movement and a lot of my mentors coming from these kinds of backgrounds. And so while my spirit is open and my personal community represents a whole lot of different people, my dance community feels sort of like this other thing. And so it's interesting because I feel like people look at me and they look at my face and they look at who I am, and then you look at who the dancers are that are currently dancing with me and for me and alongside me, and you perhaps build an assumption about who I am. And so I'm in this weird place right now where I'm trying to think about how to communicate more specifically who this community is that I'm trying to support. And at the moment, it's the diverse environment that I'm surrounded by the people who I call my friends and my family in my personal network.
Like, we've done so much work to this point that I feel like we are truly skilled as site-specific movers. I feel like I'm such a blessed person because even when stuff doesn't go according to plan, it goes to like how it should be. Mm-hmm. And as an artist, I feel like I know myself, I know my art, I know my brand, I know my people, and I'm like totally on board for all of those challenges. Yeah. You know, it's stressful and crazy, but it makes the work so much more powerful, you know?
I feel like I'm an artist that's just making dance. And most of the content I'm working with is about humanity. It's about love, it's about gesture, it's about touch. It's about momentum and falling and things that every human being, regardless of your sexual orientation or your race or your gender or your ethnicity, that you feel these things and you see these things. And I think that I have had a practice of sort of stripping away all of that stuff and getting to like the bare bones basics. Like, what is this really about? It's about being human, and it's about being people. I feel like people, even though there's a whole other, lots going on about that these days, but people want to come to a space where they can watch a performance that doesn't have all that other stuff going on, where they can just see people being people on a stage, and they can see a gesture that makes them think about their mother or their grandmother or a relationship they once had, or something that's full of joy and happiness, and they can just feel good while watching it. They don't have to be thinking about all this other stuff. And I think that every person can relate to that. And as an artist, I feel really tasked with making art that is acceptable, approachable, welcoming, that people can come into a theater or a site-specific space or wherever, a studio, a classroom, and they can participate, whether they're a viewer or a mover or whatever, or a conversation partner, and they can feel like, I'm comfortable, I belong here, I'm welcomed. People are asking me who I am, they're making me feel like a partner in this work. And so that is sort of evolving to me as what is important about me and what's really unique about me as an artist, because my art is really a vehicle for my desire to meet people and talk to people.
So this is when Lacey can walk off into the distance, which would be cool, and maybe Rob, you stand and follow her. We want to stay here and come to life. So the next two would be Hannah and Abby, so that they, they'll sort of walk, and maybe the three of you guys can stay behind and sort of echo some of what she did here. But when you see him just close by, you can just start to lead. And again, feel free if you want to move them by dancing.
My job as an artist is to bring as many new people into the fold as possible and to make them feel like we want them there. Because a lot of dance is often thought of to be elitist and not welcoming to people who don't know the information or have never studied it or can't afford it or all those sorts of things. And I want everybody to be there. Enter at your own experience, like choose your own adventure, come into the work wherever you can, and we will meet you there and talk to you about it and make you feel like it was a good choice that you came.